The ignored ones. The hall of the Galactic Council was brighter than 100 suns. Giant banners of alien empires hung from the walls, each showing symbols of power and pride. The air smelled of rare spices, perfumes, and the strange ozone scent of plasma armor. Every race that mattered in the galaxy was here, or so they believed. In the far corner of the Grand Chamber, a small group of humans sat silently. Their uniforms were plain, nothing like the golden robes of the Vitari nobles or the shining scales of the Cathar warlords. No one paid attention to them. Why should they? Humans were considered too young, too weak, too unimportant to matter in this great meeting of powers. A tall alien delegate laughed loudly, his voice echoing through the hall. "Why are the humans even allowed here?" he asked. His long claws tapped the table in rhythm. "They are traders, miners, colonists at best. Not warriors, not leaders, just background noise." The room filled with low chuckles and whispers. Even the council guards smirked. But one human raised his eyes. His name was Commander Hale, though no one in the hall knew him. His gaze was calm, but deep within it was something that unsettled even the bravest alien. He did not speak, not yet. Instead, he folded his hands and waited. The council speaker, a creature with silver tendrils for hair, slammed the staff of order. "Silence. We are not here to mock. We are here to discuss the rise of pirate fleets and rogue warlords in the border systems." At once the laughter faded, but the whispers did not stop. One young alien cadet, too bold for his own good, pointed toward the human section. "Speaker, why do they sit among us? Their fleets are small, their worlds are scattered. What do they bring, except begging hands?" The speaker hesitated, searching for a diplomatic answer. But Commander Hale spoke first. His voice was steady, without anger, without pride. "We are here because no one else would fight the pirates when they came for us. And we survived." The hall grew quiet for a moment. Then another alien delegate burst into laughter. "Survived? Barely. I heard you lost half your ships in one battle." Hale did not smile. "And yet the pirates lost all of theirs." The silence that followed was heavier this time. The aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Some tried to laugh again, but it sounded forced, thin. A Vithari lord leaned forward, his golden eyes narrowing. "Tell us, human, how did your people defeat an armada twice your size?" Hale's answer was simple. "We adapted. We changed faster than they could. That is, what humans do." The words seemed harmless, almost plain, yet something about them made the room colder. Aliens looked at one another, unsure why their skin crawled. Perhaps it was the way he said it, not with arrogance, not with pride, but with quiet certainty. The council moved on with its debates, but whispers traveled like shadows. Reports had already been circulating in secret corridors. Humans fighting differently, humans winning battles they should have lost. Some dismissed it as luck. Others were not so sure. High above the chamber, in the observation decks, a pair of alien strategists spoke in hushed tones. "They are being underestimated," one said. "They are too small to matter," the other replied. "Small things grow. Have you ever watched fire spread from a spark?" Back in the hall, the meeting dragged on. Discussions of treaties, taxes, and fleets filled the air, but no one noticed. The humans leaving quietly. They left no words, no threats, only silence. Yet silence can be louder than war drums. Outside the Grand Chamber, Commander Hale walked with his small group of officers. Their steps were measured, their faces unreadable. A young lieutenant whispered to him, "Sir, they laughed at us again. They think we are nothing." Hale's reply was calm. "Good. Let them think that. Fear grows best in the dark." The lieutenant swallowed hard, unsure if he understood. But he followed, as did the rest. Behind them in the council chamber, the alien cadet who mocked the humans earlier could not shake the look in Hale's eyes. It haunted him. It was not anger, not pride, but something far worse, certainty. That night the cadet wrote in his private journal, "The humans, they are too quiet. It feels like the quiet before a storm. And somewhere, far from the shining halls of the council, deep in the void of space, human fleets trained in silence. Their ships were not the largest, their weapons not the most advanced, but their crews were relentless, their minds sharp and their hearts unbroken. They were ignored, mocked, and overlooked. But every overlooked shadow has a moment when it rises, and the galaxy was about to learn that silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes silence means preparation. Small sparks. The galaxy rarely noticed small wars on the edge of known space. Skirmishes happened every month. Pirates raiding colonies, mercenaries chasing profit, smugglers running weapons. To the great empires, these were nothing more than background noise. But then reports began to spread. Quiet at first, carried by traders, mercenaries, and frightened refugees. It was said that a small human fleet, barely 24 ships, had destroyed a pirate armada of more than 100 vessels. The survivors, those few who managed to escape in broken escape pods, spoke of strange tactics and terrifying silence. They didn't fight like anyone else, one alien muttered to a listening tavern crowd on a distant station. No battle, cries, no chaos, just precision. They moved like one mind, like hunters. At first, no one believed the stories. Pirates were known for exaggerating, especially when covering their failures. But then another story came, and another. An alien merchant ship swore they saw humans taking on 3 war frigates with nothing more than a converted cargo hauler, and winning. A mercenary captain, his scales pale with fear, whispered that humans disabled his fleet without killing a single crew but left a warning burned into the hull. Do not come back. Rumors spread faster than light, and where rumors go, fear follows. In the council chambers, the alien leaders scoffed. Exaggerations, one declared. Pirates are cowards. They probably ran before the first shot was fired. But others were not so quick to dismiss. The Vithari lord from before leaned back in his seat, tapping his claw against the armrest. I have seen battle reports, he said. These humans, they use strange formations. They fight like prey animals that suddenly learn to hunt. The chamber erupted in laughter at his words, but the Lord did not join. Meanwhile, on the human side of space, the truth was much simpler. Commander Hale stood in the command room of the Resolute, watching as holographic projections of their last battle replayed in silence. His officers studied every maneuver, every mistake, every tiny detail. Again, Hale ordered. The simulation restarted. Human ships moved fast, shifting positions, breaking into small groups, reforming again. They struck like knives, never where the enemy expected. Every alien strategist who watched their battles said the same thing. This is not how fleets fight. This is how predators hunt. A young lieutenant frowned as the simulation ended. Sir, the aliens don't understand us. They think we are weak. Hale gave a thin smile. Let them. The longer they underestimate us, the better our chances when the real war comes. Far away in a smoky underworld tavern, a group of mercenaries argued over drinks. I saw them myself, one insisted. His voice shook. A single human boarding team tore through an entire cruiser. Small arms only. No heavy weapons. They moved fast. No fear. No hesitation. It was like fighting shadows. His companions laughed nervously, but none of them called him a liar. Because too many stories were piling up. Too many reports of humans doing the impossible. The sparks of fear reached even the pirate lords. A council of raiders gathered in a hidden base near the rim. We should avoid human space, one snarled, his tentacles curling in unease. They're not worth the risk. But another slammed his fist against the table. They are still weak. Small colonies, fragile fleets. If we strike together, they cannot stand. The debate grew heated, but no decision was reached. In the end, they scattered again, each one carrying the same uneasy thought. Humans were not supposed to be dangerous. And yet, back in the Galactic Council, the young alien cadet who once mocked humans found himself troubled again. He read the reports, the captured transmissions, the whispered testimonies. He asked his mentor, a seasoned commander, Why do the humans win? The commander gave a cold look. Because they fight as if every battle is survival. We fight for honor, for wealth, for reputation. But they fight as if extinction is only one mistake away. That makes them dangerous. The cadet fell, silent, remembering Hale's eyes from the council chamber. Quiet eyes. Patient eyes. The kind of eyes predators have before the strike. The galaxy laughed still, but the laughter was thinner, weaker. In the shadows of their own pride, unease began to grow. Because fear always starts as a spark. And those sparks were already spreading like wildfire. The first clash. The galaxy finally noticed humanity not through rumors but through blood. It began on the outer rim, where an alien fleet of the Cathar Dominion was expanding its territory. They had crushed 3 minor colonies in less than a month. Their ships were heavy, their warriors fearless, and their leaders arrogant. They thought no one could stop them. Then they crossed into human space. The Cathar commander was amused when he heard that only 6 human ships stood in his way, 6 against 30. This will be easy, he growled, his scaled lips curling in a grin. We will wipe them out in one strike. But when the battle began, things did not go as expected. The human ships moved strangely. Instead of holding formation like other fleets, they scattered, vanishing into asteroid fields and dust clouds. The Cathar laughed at what they thought was cowardice. Chase them, their commander barked. Do not let the prey escape. Yet every time a Cathar ship broke formation, it was ambushed. A missile from the shadows, a boarding team cutting through the hull, a sudden strike from a hidden gunship. The humans fought with silence and precision. Inside one of the human ships, Commander Hale stood at the center of the command deck, calm as ever. Target their engines, he ordered, not their weapons. Make them fear being stranded. Yes, sir, his officers replied. The humans never wasted a shot. Every attack crippled the enemy, forcing them into panic. In the middle of the fight, the Cathar realized the truth. The humans were not running. They were hunting. One Cathar frigate exploded under sudden crossfire. Another had its engines sliced open, drifting helplessly into the void. A third ship was boarded by human marines, who swept through the corridors like ghosts. A captured transmission later revealed the horror of the Cathar crew. They don't scream when they fight? The alien's voice crackled with terror. They don't roar, they don't even speak. They move like shadows, and then it's over. By the time the dust settled, the Cathar fleet was shattered. Out of 30 ships, only 4 managed to escape. The rest were destroyed or captured. And the humans? Only 1 ship was lost. The news spread faster than light. Traders, smugglers, and mercenaries carried the story to every corner of the galaxy. The council tried to bury the reports, but fear cannot be silenced. In the great council chamber, chaos erupted. How did 6 ships destroy 30? Shouted one alien delegate. They must have used illegal weapons, another accused. Impossible. The Cathar are not weaklings, argued a third. At the edge of the chamber, Commander Hale stood silently once again, listening to their arguments. Finally, one of the older council members turned to him. Human, what did you do? What weapon did you use? Hale's answer was simple. Discipline, adaptation, and patience. The chamber fell into uneasy silence. Whispers grew louder across the stars. Merchants spoke in hushed voices. Did you hear? The humans defeated the Cathar. Pirates trembled. Their soldiers don't fight like others. They fight to end you. Even the mighty empires began to question what they once believed. If humans could defeat the Cathar with a handful of ships, what else were they capable? On a distant moon, the young alien cadet read the report with shaking hands. He remembered Hale's calm eyes, and he understood now. The humans were not weak. They were not prey. They were predators waiting for their chance. He whispered to himself, almost in fear. That was not even their full strength. That was just their regular fleet. And in the shadows of the galaxy, someone else confirmed. So, a secret report moved across encrypted channels. One line repeated again and again. The regulars are dangerous, but pray you never meet their special forces. The first clash was over. Humanity had won. But the galaxy was only beginning to realize that this was just the beginning. Fear spreads. The battle against the Cathar was only one fight, but its echo shook the galaxy. Every station, every trade hub, every shadow market whispered the same words. Humans defeated 30 ships with 6. Traders told the tale over drinks. Mercenaries swore they saw the wreckage, and smugglers carried fragments of destroyed Cathar ships as proof. The council tried to silence the rumors. They called them exaggerations, lies spread by frightened witnesses. But fear has its own way of spreading faster than any truth. And soon, the galaxy was not laughing anymore. On the desert world of Veyron, 2 merchants argued in the marketplace. It cannot be true, one hissed. The Cathar are one of the strongest fleets. Humans are nothing. But the other shook his head. I saw the escape pods myself. Cathar survivors trembling like hatchlings. They spoke of humans moving like shadows, striking without warning. They were broken. Nearby, a group of young soldiers overheard the conversation. For the first time, they wondered if the humans were more than just background noise in the council chamber. In pirate dens across the rim, fear began to poison the air. A pirate captain slammed his clawed hand on the table. We avoid human space from now on. No raids, no ambushes, nothing. The risk is too high. His crew stared. One dared to protest. They're still small, Captain. Their fleets are nothing compared to the Empire's. The captain's eyes burned. Tell that to the Cathar. Those monsters ran crying. If even they cannot stand against humans, what chance do we have? Silence fell. No one argued again. Back in human space, Commander Hale read the intercepted transmissions with calm eyes. He knew what the aliens were saying. He knew fear was spreading, and he allowed it. One of his officers asked quietly, Sir, should we release official reports of our victory? Let the galaxy see the truth? Hale shook his head. No. Let them fear the unknown. A shadow is always bigger in the dark. In the council chamber, the debates grew louder. They are a danger, one alien shouted. If 6 ships can do this, imagine what more could do. They are still too few, another argued. A spark cannot burn an empire. But then a voice from the back of the chamber spoke, an older strategist scarred by many wars. His tone was calm, almost grim. You are wrong. A spark can burn a forest if the wind is right, and fear is the wind. The chamber fell silent. For once no one laughed. Rumors of something darker also began to circulate. Stories whispered in secret corners of stations and fleets. The Cathar. Survivors had said something strange. Those were not even their best soldiers. At first many dismissed it. But then more stories came. Stories of human units no one had ever seen officially. Silent squads that appeared on battlefields, destroyed targets, and vanished without a trace. Some called them ghosts. Others called them the Night Division. No one knew if these stories were true. But fear does not need proof. It only needs belief. Young alien cadet sat in his quarters, staring at the reports. He remembered the words of his mentor. They fight as if extinction is one mistake away. Now he understood. The humans did not fight for glory or wealth or honor. They fought because every battle was survival. That made them dangerous. He whispered to himself. If their regular soldiers are this strong, what happens when they unleash the ones they keep hidden? In the dark reaches of space, human ships continued to train in silence. Their officers spoke few words. Their soldiers drilled endlessly. Their fleets adapted with every simulation. They did not care for recognition, for applause, or for the council's approval. They cared only for survival. And survival had already made them the most feared species in the galaxy, even if most still refused to admit it. By now, the galaxy no longer laughed at humanity. They whispered instead. And whispers, once they spread far enough, are louder than screams. The hidden army. The galaxy thought it had seen the strength of humans. 6 ships against 30 and victory. Boarding teams that fought like shadows. Fleets that adapted faster than any alien force. But those were only the regulars. The truth was much darker. Hidden deep within Earth's military networks. On a secret base orbiting a barren moon. Human soldiers trained in silence. Their faces were hidden behind black visors, their movements sharp and exact. They did not laugh, did not boast, did not speak unless ordered. Every strike was calculated. Every bullet fired only once, never wasted. They were called many names, by the galaxy's whispers, ghosts, Night Division, Shadow Corps. But among themselves they were nothing more than soldiers. Soldiers who had been broken down, rebuilt, and sharpened until nothing human seemed to remain. Except their will. Rumors of them reached the alien empires, carried by frightened spies who barely escaped Earth alive. One report told of an infiltration team that vanished into the forests of Mars training grounds. For 2 weeks the spies hunted them. For 2 weeks they found nothing. And then, on the last night, every spy woke up bound, disarmed, and marked with a single line burned into their armor. Leave Earth. The spies returned to their masters, trembling. We never saw them coming, one whispered. Not once. It was like the forest itself wanted us gone. The alien generals dismissed these stories in public. But in private they locked their doors at night. In the council chamber the fear had grown to anger. They hide something. An alien delegate snapped. Humans are too quiet, too calm. They do not show all their strength. Another nodded. Yes. Even their victories feel incomplete. If this is only their surface, what lies beneath? But when Commander Hale was asked directly, his answer gave nothing. Every species has secrets, he said calmly. We are no different, he left it at that. But his eyes carried a weight that silenced the room. Across the galaxy more strange reports appeared. A pirate fortress on the rim was found empty, every weapon dismantled, every leader gone, no signs of battle, just silence. A Cathar warlord's flagship was discovered adrift, its crew alive, but terrified, muttering the same word over and over. Humans. A mercenary band claimed they were hunted for 3 days by invisible soldiers. None of their scanners detected anything. When the survivors returned, they swore they would never accept a contract against humanity again. None of these reports could be proven. But together, they built a shadow of fear larger than any proof could. Meanwhile, in the hidden training grounds, a squad knelt before their commander. Their armor bore no symbols, no names. They existed only for the mission. Your orders are simple, the commander said. His voice was low, steady. Go where the enemy feels safe. Show them they are never safe. The soldiers rose without a word. They did not need speeches. They did not need promises. They were the answer to every threat. Back in alien space, the young cadet who once mocked humans began to understand. He read the reports, heard the whispers, and asked his mentor, why? Don't the humans reveal their full army? Why hide it? The old commander's eyes darkened. Because fear is stronger than fire. If the galaxy only imagines their hidden army, they will never stop trembling. Humans know this. The cadet felt a chill run through him. For the first time he wished he had never laughed at them. The galaxy had seen sparks of human power. But now, in every shadow, they saw monsters that might not even exist. And in a way, that was worse. Because the unknown is always more terrifying than the truth. The hidden army was never shown in full, never paraded, never confirmed. But every empire knew deep down that somewhere in the darkness, humanity kept its sharpest blade. Waiting. The unveiling, the galaxy thought it was ready. For months, empires had whispered about humans. For months, pirates had avoided their space. For months, commanders had wondered if the rumors of a hidden army were true. But no one truly believed. Until the war came. It started with the Draven Horde. A brutal alien empire, famous for burning colonies and enslaving worlds. They had no fear of humans. To them, Earth was still a small, fragile power. So the Draven sent their fleet 200 warships into human space. Burn their colonies, the Draven warlord roared. Crush their fleets. Show the galaxy they are nothing but insects. Hizar, warriors cheered, their voices echoing like thunder. When the Draven fleet entered human territory, they expected chaos. They expected fear. Instead, they found silence. The human ships did not meet them head-on. Instead, the void seemed empty. Too empty. This is a trap, one Draven officer muttered. The warlord laughed. No, they are hiding because they are weak. But then, the darkness came alive. Human ships emerged from the shadows, smaller than the Draven vessels but faster, sharper. They struck with terrifying precision, cutting engines, disabling weapons, vanishing again into the dark. The Draven fought, back with fury, their massive guns lighting up the void, but every blast seemed to hit nothing but empty space. Then, for the first time, the galaxy saw them. The hidden army. They did not come in giant fleets. They came in squads, black ships that moved as one, soldiers that boarded enemy vessels like ghosts, cutting down warriors before alarms could even sound. Draven crews screamed over comms. They're inside the ship. They move too fast. They don't speak. They don't make a sound. They're already here. The transmissions ended in static. From his command deck, Commander Hale watched the battle unfold. His voice was calm, steady. Cut their communications. Strike their command ships last. Let the others see what waits for them. His officers obeyed without hesitation. The Draven fleet, once roaring with confidence, now trembled in confusion and fear. One Draven captain shouted desperately, "We must retreat." But retreat was impossible. The humans had already surrounded them. The council, watching through intercepted transmissions, sat frozen. Delegates who once mocked humans now stared in horror at the unfolding destruction. One whispered, Those are not regular soldiers." Another muttered, "So the rumors were true." And a third, voice trembling, said, "We never should have ignored them." Hours later, the battle ended. Out of 200 Draven ships, fewer than 20 limped away, broken and bleeding into the void. The rest were destroyed or captured. The humans had lost only 5 ships. It was not victory. It was domination. That night across the galaxy, fear spread like fire. Pirates abandoned entire sectors, refusing to go near human space. Mercenary companies tore up contracts rather than face them. Even the great empires whispered in their own war rooms, wondering if they had made a mistake by overlooking Earth for so long. For the first time, the galaxy saw humans not as prey, not as background noise, but as predators, silent, patient, and merciless when provoked. Back on Earth, Hale addressed his officers. His words were few but heavy. The galaxy now knows what we are capable of. But remember, fear is a weapon, and like all weapons, it must be controlled. We did not ask for this war, but if they bring it again, we will finish it. His soldiers stood in silence. They did not need cheers. They did not need parades. The galaxy's fear was their banner now. In the council chamber, the young alien cadet sat pale and shaken. He remembered the first time he mocked the humans. Now he wished he had never spoken at all. They were overlooked, he whispered to himself, and now they are the most feared. His mentor placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. "You are young. Learn this well. Never underestimate the quiet ones. They are the ones who change the galaxy." The unveiling was complete. The humans were no longer shadows in the corner of the chamber. They were the storm on the horizon. And everyone knew the storm was just beginning. The most feared, the galaxy, had always believed power belonged to the oldest empires. The ones with the largest fleets, the brightest technology, the longest histories. Humanity was ignored, overlooked, dismissed as traitors, minors, colonists. But that time was over. After the fall of the Draven Horde, the galaxy could no longer deny what had happened. Reports spread to every corner, 200 ships crushed, planets liberated, and the humans walking away with only a handful of losses. Fear had become reality. On frontier stations, merchants no longer mocked humans. Instead, they lowered their voices and spoke carefully whenever a human walked by. Pirates abandoned human space completely. Mercenary companies now refused contracts against Earth. Even when offered fortunes. The galaxy had learned. In the Grand Council chamber, silence ruled. No one laughed at humans anymore. No one dared to call them weak. The council speaker rose and tried to hold authority in his trembling voice. We must address the truth. Humanity is not what we thought. They have changed the balance of power in this galaxy. One alien delegate muttered bitterly. Changed? No, they control it now. All eyes turned to the human delegation. Commander Hale stood at their front, calm as always. He did not smile, did not boast. He simply looked at them, and that look was enough to silence the hall. Finally, one brave delegate asked the question burning in everyone's mind. Human, what do you want? Hale's answer was steady, almost cold. Respect. Nothing more. Nothing less. Outside the chamber, the whispers turned to warnings. They don't conquer, one alien said. But if you cross them, they destroy. They don't boast, another added, and that makes them more dangerous. And a third concluded, voice shaking. They don't want to rule the galaxy. But the galaxy now fears them more than any empire. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Earth's military networks, the hidden army remained unseen. The galaxy had only glimpsed them, but that glimpse was enough. No one wanted to see the full force. Because fear of the unknown is the strongest fear of all. On a distant colony, a child asked her father, "Why are the aliens afraid of us now?" The father smiled sadly. Because they never looked at us properly before. They thought we were weak. And nothing is more terrifying than realizing the thing you ignored is the one thing that can end you. The young alien cadet, who once mocked the humans, now wrote in his journal every night. His latest entry read, "They were overlooked, forgotten, mocked, but now their silence is louder than our roars, their patience stronger than our armies, and their will unbreakable. The galaxy has a new predator, and it wears the face of humanity." Commander Hale stood at the viewport of the Resolute, watching the stars. His officers gathered behind him, waiting for his words. They laughed at us once, Hale said quietly. But now they whisper, and whispers spread faster than fire. He turned, his expression unreadable. The galaxy will never forget what humans are capable of, and they will never again overlook us. The officers saluted in silence. And so it was written across the stars. Humanity, once ignored, once overlooked, had become the most feared species in the galaxy, not because of numbers, not because of technology, but because they carried something far more dangerous. The will to survive. And survival, in the end, is the sharpest weapon of all.